My name is Aiden Huffman, and today, me and my friends will be discussing a video we watched in the last week. We will explain further in a moment.
Indeed.
My team is going to introduce themselves.
My name is McKaylee Morion.
My name is Ecom.
My name is Corbin Beauregard.
My name is Grant Johnson.
This is the Beach House Podcast, and we're gonna get started. We're gonna hop right into this thing right now. The title of it was Conservative Teens versus Liberal Parents.
That would be
Correct.
Yes. I think Sis is gonna start us off with the first
All
topic.
right, sis, get after it. Let's your question.
I'm gonna ask McKaylee what your first personal thoughts were. Right off the bat.
Okay, so I feel like personally the parents started off negative right away.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It was the bi team, his dad.
Mm-hmm.
His dad was like, okay, and then he called them vaccines. Like right away. Remember? He was like,
Yes.
alright, vaccines.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kinda right off the bat.
That's what you thought?
Some hostility.
Yeah, I feel like already the parents were already jumping at the teams. The teams were they were pretty
I
put together.
feel like the teens were more calm than the parents were.
Yeah.
The parents were very quick to start judging and just start saying things that they disagreed with, and were very very aggressive. I would say the teens kept it cool, calm, and collected. They seemed more professional.
I remember it started with it was a 43, and we were all like, oh, that's not really fair, because there was 4 liberals and
Because
Yeah.
the conservatives are always picked up, gotta nerf them.
Yeah, precisely. Well, getting into it.
Start with the first topic, Aiden.
The first topic they debated was the government has no right to tell people what to do with their bodies. How they structured the video was they would list a topic, and then there was a bunch of chairs set up in the front, and if you agreed with it, you would go and sit up in one of the chairs, and both the red and the blue side, they both agreed with it. And I have the reason they both agreed with it. The red people agreed with the statement because of the vaccines. They believe that the vaccine shouldn't be mandated, and they believe that if you want to get a vaccine, it's fine, but you don't have to.
It should be your choice. It should be personal choice. You should not be forced.
And then we already
know what the liberals.
Yeah,
Wait, was it Ryan? Was that the dark skin?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Okay, so Cindy
The Indian.
wasn't a big fan of her.
Cindy was very
I'm
aggressive.
not a fan of
So-
Cindy.
Is Cindy the white mom?
Yes.
Yes.
So guys, remember when this was like the government telling me what to do with my body, Cindy was saying that, and then she told Nathan, she said, "Well, your life's hard your life's not as hard." She called him privilege.
Yeah, 'cause he's a
Because
male.
He's a male.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You'll never understand what it's like to be a woman because you don't have to give birth, or you don't have to go through an abortion."
Yeah, she straight up said that with no hesitation.
No, and she had no
balls deep.
No guilt.
So next topic was LGBTQ. Sis, what were your first bullet points written down?
So, let's see. Oh, Cindy said that the LGBTQ isn't political, and I think that's the exact opposite. LGBTQ is made political by the liberals.
Exactly.
It's 100%.
Especially these last 4 years with Biden in office because
Exactly.
they made it special.
Actual
Okay.
conservative teenager
Male.
in high school. Also, his father was a liberal.
He was
on
more
the
liberal
show.
in the videos, yeah.
It's the same
In
show.
the same show.
That's
But
kind of interesting, though.
they had a pretty good relationship, and it seemed like they were calm.
You know, they had a good, healthy father-son relationship.
It ran away from Gray.
I think that them bringing the father and the son on 2 opposite sides kind of falls into the topic that we talk about later on about politics ruining relationships.
Yes.
Do you think that's maybe why they brought him in, sort of?
I feel like they
I
were
think,
trying
yeah.
to make a point like that it doesn't ruin relationships because they have a good relationship.
Yeah.
And so they were like how the media, like social media shows like, oh, it's not all that bad.
His bisexual son
Was that Nathan, right?
I'm gonna be honest, was more of a man than his father
Braden.
was.
Braden.
Keep going.
Braden.
Yep.
Yeah. He was more of a man than Scott was. Scott
Even though
was
he was gay?
correct. He wasn't full gay, he was half gay.
Hold on.
Gay is gay.
Does being gay make you any less of a man?
Of course
Are you
not.
saying that?
Of course not.
I would say that. I would say that.
You sound like a liberal.
I'm just being fair.
So, to,
What if?
we're gonna head towards our advertisement, folks, and it's gonna be,
My buddy has a gay uncle.
oh,
Being gay doesn't necessarily make you less of a man, but it can make you less of a man. Like it definitely affects your vibe, your masculinity. Yes, yes. Because like what you said, a gay rancher. I mean, that's a hard worker. I mean, that sounds very masculine to me. But like, there's still fruity dudes like in like LA, you know, walking all skinny in their crop tops. You know, like that is not masculine at all. That is not manly. But I mean, a rancher who works his tail off, does his job, puts the work in. I mean, I would consider that masculine.
But he likes boys.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that's just kind of weird, you know?
Oh, I do, sis. So do you
It's not
remember?
weird. Gay is normal, sorry.
Do you remember when Cindy was talking about like people were talking about how, or it was on the news and stuff that guys were going into women restrooms,
my
and she was all like that. There's no proof of that, and I just want to hear your thoughts.
I feel like that's always the liberals' go-to, is anytime you bring up a fact, they say there's no proof. Well, there's no proof because they don't want the proof.
They don't.
I agree.
Oh my goodness.
They
down.
listen.
Girls in the
With
bathroom.
the boys going to girls' bathrooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, who was it that's claimed like that could lead to, I mean, rape cases, right?
It was her.
It was,
It was Cindy that said that, I think.
and she was acting like, oh, there's no proof, that's not possible. Like, I agree with what you just said. She doesn't want the proof.
Yeah.
They don't want the proof. Like, when they see the proof, they claim it's not true. Like liberals are, I feel like, fuel on gaslighting and lies. And that's how that party rolls, honestly. And that's how Cindy rolls the whole time. She just believes what she wants to believe. She can't back it up, but she'll believe it anyway.
She tries to illustrate this basically fantasy. This just like fantasy.
It's a fantasy world she lives in.
Just a fantasy world she lives in. I'm sorry. There's words can't describe it. It's
Words can't describe her nonsense.
it,
Yeah, I
it's,
agree.
it really discombobulates my brain. Anyways,
Exactly.
moving on. They talked about it, or they brought up the topic. Does not being an ally with a member of the LGBTQ make you a bad person?
Grant, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you, I mean, a more reasonable person. I mean, if you support them, okay. Like, I'm not saying that makes you bad, but I mean, as a Christian myself, I don't support being gay. So, no, absolutely not. It does not make me a bad person. It makes me, it's what I believe in. It's what I follow. So, no, I don't think it makes you a bad person at all. But, I mean, that doesn't mean you should go necessarily hating on them and being hateful towards them. Because I don't believe, I mean, you should spread love no matter what. But just because you're not an ally with them and support them doesn't mean you're a bad person.
I agree with that. I think one of the main reasons that Kamala lost, or is it Kamala? Kamala lost
Yeah,
is
yeah,
because, there's like people say it differently.
Chameleon. Same thing.
But
Come on.
I think one of the reasons she lost is because they like make this such a priority that like if you don't like agree with the gay, then you're bad. And I think like the country, like our citizens, we're tired of it. So I think that's exactly why.
They
And it
got
doesn't
that.
make you a bad person.
I agree.
Absolutely.
It's a gay. My dear friend is gonna come in here and do an advertisement.
Bring on JC.
Hey guys, are you a fellow Christian?
Sit down.
tired and exhausted of being exposed and propagandized by the gay liberal agenda, call your local church, visit your local church, and remember, always pray the gay away.
Amen. Amen.
I have a question for you.
Yo, dog.
So, as you all, I know you're, most likely you guys' families are all gun owners.
Correct.
I would like to ask you,
You go ahead, Grant.
do you think is owning a gun a basic human right? I will say, it depends what your definition of a basic human right is. I'll say it is constitutional, it is an American right that we should have guns, that we are allowed to bear arms. However, I will say, is it a basic human right to me own a gun in my definition, in my opinion? I don't necessarily think so, just because I can live without a gun. I can live my life without having to own a gun. So, but I do think it is an American right, and you should exercise that right.
I agree with you, Grant. I believe it's an American right. I was agreeing with you.
I want to talk about the people that were in the podcast and what they said about that, but I do agree with you, Grant, that I agree with everything you said. So Cindy says, this is when Cindy brought up the fact that, quote unquote, this is what her research was. Most cases are women getting killed in domestic violence.
Oh.
That's why we shouldn't, is that what it was?
Yes, it was the most deaths from guns is women who are involved in
Women.
domestic violence.
And
Like,
we-
killed by men.
We know that's not true. We know it's really black on black crime.
Wait,
That's
Cindy
most
said
of the
that,
gun
right?
violence.
Oh.
Like it's not domestic like abuse or like some stuff like that. That's the
But it's
leading cause.
also the illegals that are coming in with that
Yeah,
stuff.
but Cindy
Yeah.
was doing this the whole time, and it was like, oh, it's like typical liberal, like you just want to fact check them. But you can't. I mean, like, this is another reason why students are these.
To see, I think if
Did we
you
ever
were
fact check Cindy?
we
did it.
I'm sure everything out of her mouth was a lie.
Yeah, it's
Alright,
because we knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Jubilee did a fact check, it would make it a lot more, you know, like.
Here's the thing
I don't
too, is Jubilee does fact check, but they're all left, or liberal fact check. Like from a liberal source.
Oh, is Jubilee liberal?
I
Apparently.
think they're in between. I don't think they're.
I'm pretty sure they're neutral, but like every fact check I've seen was on liberal and it was like saying that the fact was true, like it was a fact, so.
Yeah.
I'd like to add my 2 cents on the gun situation. I believe that even if they were to take away our rights to our guns, it's the same thing as drugs. A lot of drugs are illegal. There's still drug overdoses, like, you know, all year round in all of America. And what I'm getting at is, even if you make guns illegal, people are still gonna buy them illegally. And here's the worst part of that is the people that don't buy their guns illegally, and they're attacked by a person who bought a gun illegally, they don't have a good gun to defend
Exactly.
themselves. So
They're defenseless.
you're essentially, when taking away American citizens' firearms, you're taking away their like one source of protection. Not one source of protection, but
Main source.
their main source of protection.
I'm sorry, may I add this? I think, if we did have guns, taking away guns is gonna take away violence. There will be violence no matter what. If you look in, England, they don't have guns, so they're just stabbing each other. I mean, it's not gonna take away the violence at all, so I just want to point that out.
They just be shaking each other, ain't it?
Coach Waller pointed that out. I remember talking about it in class. Coach Waller talking about in England they just stab each other. They just have knives. I mean, personally, I'd rather get shot than stabbed. I feel like stabbing is much.
The violence will definitely go down, but like it's still just gonna bring up problems with like the defenseless and like stuff like that. So I don't know. There's no real solution to gun violence really.
And one thing I could put in there, we were talking about in class today actually, Coach Waller was saying if we got attacked by, who was it, Grant? He's talking about if we got attacked, he would, like, if we got attacked, he would go out there with his AK and he would shoot him up.
Yeah.
Coach Wallace has an AK?
Well, if the city was under attack by a bunch of terrorists, Waller would go and.
He's using his podium.
Like
instead.
ram, like
It
ram.
was self-defense, like self-defense. You
Yeah.
would go-
Yeah, you know Walter's podium?
But he said, like, that's, like, another reason why.
So we're gonna move on to the next topic.
800
Ethan,
times.
I would like to ask you, because this was the next topic they talked about, do you think politics should intervene with relationships?
As the bisexual fella named Nathan, or not Nathan, Braden said, you know, or in their sense anyways, you know, he was gay and he was also conservative, and his father was a heavy liberal, like one of the worst ones on the show, and they had a good, healthy relationship, it seems like, if I'm being
I
honest.
think they did, yeah, they actually really did.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Even though they have complete opposite ideas of each other, they actually had a great relationship, the father and son.
In my opinion, I believe you should never, ever, ever
Oh.
let your political opinion get in the way of a relationship, especially with a loved one.
Oh,
Because I have some family that are on the left side, and I don't, like, my side, that we don't shove any, like, we don't push anything on them, they don't push anything on us, and we get along just fine. It's like, it's not even the topic we bring up. I believe unless you and whoever you're talking to can have a civil debate without getting upset and just, staying collected and calm, I believe you shouldn't even bring up politics.
I agree.
Because if you can't be mature enough to have a conversation about a disagreement, like without controlling your emotions, you shouldn't be talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
just
You
bringing that
shouldn't be
thing
voting,
up.
honestly, but
Politics does bring out the worst in people, though.
it does.
There was
It does.
something, I also wrote down, social media causing division, which I was opinion on
Sis, have you ever
Oh.
experienced any type of like division
it. Especially on
or
social media.
media or something like that with politics?
Well, as you all know, because I've talked about it multiple times.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I know somebody on a personal level. I was very, very close with her. Then the election came around.
You said Barry, or you were. Are y'all not close anymore?
Not really.
Mm.
It's not my fault either. It's because it's just very annoying. I mean, it upsets me about it, or this whole thing upsets me. But ever since the election came around, there was stuff on social media she was putting. I mean, this is a grown woman that's doing this.
Does it make you sad that it kind of split y'all's relationship?
It does. She's I don't know if what reposting on TikTok is, but some very personal things. Because I know she's looking at. I wasn't doing anything personal. I was reposting about Trump winning the election, and then it started getting personal, and I don't want to be around it anymore.
And I'm glad you didn't reciprocate the toxic vibes. You know, it shows your maturity.
That is very mature.
How you are a conservative, because most conservatives are very critical with their emotions. You know, and it just shows liberals don't know how to just use their brain. It's okay.
And that, I think it's,
Hey, I would like to say I don't think it's all liberals. Because I have people I love in my life that are liberal. I think you know how to use their brain, but I feel like it's not all their fault. I think it's not all their fault because so many liberals aren't told the truth. They're gaslighted.
That's so true.
I feel like
Okay.
the big reason why people can be liberals is because
like Taylor
it's
Swift.
hard to see the truth sometimes.
Taylor Swift.
I agree, Grant.
The truth is hard to find. Like, you really gotta do your research if you wanna know the truth about a lot of things. And I think that's why so many liberals think the way they do, because they're just told lies.
Well, I think it goes with the same thing. They don't use their mind. They don't put the effort. They don't put the time in to like do their research or actually see what's going on in this.
I don't,
world.
that's fair.
So that's why I say that, because they are being deceived by these lies that are blatant lies. You know.
Yeah,
Well,
and
that's
I
just,
think,
your propaganda, you were making it sound like they were like retarded or something.
I mean, if they believe in, like, if they voted, okay, let me rephrase. If they voted for Kamala, they are retarded. There you go. Those that. You feel me?
I feel you, dog.
My grandma's a liberal.
my grandma is too.
Oh, your grandma's a liberal.
They
actually, one thing,
But she's old though, she's old though.
one thing I think I could put
Hey,
in there is
you're-
that
you're
one of my favorite cousins, very close. We love each other so dearly. We follow each other on Instagram.
Wait,
Is this the one I think it is?
No, y'all
Not
don't.
that one.
okay, oh, it's not the
Very
hot one?
close.
It's not
Someone
the
just
bad
barked.
baby.
No, I said, oh, but it's not the hot
Did
one?
someone bark?
Wait, it's not your hot cousin?
No,
It was the annoying brother?
no,
No?
not that.
No, I know she's not, what am I saying?
Anyways, yeah, she did a little unfollow on Instagram. And we're very close, but I put on my Instagram, no, please don't vote for World War III, and I got unfollowed.
She hits you with the unfollow your own cousin.
Just like
That's what
that,
politics
not
does
even
to
any
people, man.
words or
Not
nothing, just unfollow.
Yeah, we actually haven't spoke since then.
That is
It's
crazy.
really sad.
That's
Makes
what
me
it
really
does to
sad.
me, yeah.
We've grown up together and everything.
And just like, oh, is it the other cousin?
No, and she's a cousin.
Oh, okay.
So I want to talk about the next topic and what Cindy said. The next topic was thoughts on the feminist movement is overrated, and I thought it was so weird that the only person that stepped up was Cindy.
What a jack wiener.
After
Oh my goodness.
She contradicted herself the whole thing. Like the whole time she sounded like an idiot.
The whole time she was talking about women,
She had no idea.
and then she said the feminist movement was overrated because she has no idea she doesn't even know what she thinks about
She's not
politics.
using her brain.
No,
Not using her mind.
and what do you
Grandma Johnson.
What do you
used her
think
mind
about
much.
that?
Oh, show.
Do you think the feminist movement is overrated? Do you think it's pushed too hard in our country?
I think it's definitely pushed too hard. I think, I don't think feminism is what it was intended to be at all, ever, because it started out with, normal feminism. For example, women should be allowed to vote, women should have equal rights. And now I feel feminism has really shifted into more of a just putting men down, like women are better than men. And I think it's contradicting and it's hypocritical because essentially they're playing the victim for something that they're essentially doing to men by putting themselves higher than men simply because they're a woman. That's hypocrisy. That's super hypocritical. That's the same crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're saying like modern feminism is more like men are better, women are better than men? Like,
I think
feminism
feminism.
was originally, you were equals.
I would say modern feminism is more anti-men.
I think you're,
I feel like it goes back to like way further, like in the past. They think about how we didn't have rights, like as much as men did, and so then they're all like, now it's time for women to take control. Like, and then
yeah,
they just
it's escalated too far.
I
Yeah, and
understand
it's like
that,
stuff
but-
they didn't get to experience because it's so far down, in history. Like
Yeah.
Times
I'm
have
gonna ask the
changed.
women a question, since
Okay.
y'all are so, y'all
You're like girls.
I don't think that way.
In what way do you think that, they always talk about how it's, the women movement and everything, it's not fair. In what way do you think y'all are not treated the same as men in this country? Like, any
Okay,
instance?
I have an instance.
Let's hear it.
I have a personal.
Oh.
They're not personal. So back in my good old days when I played basketball, we went to state and we went to eat Chipotle. And this might just be because the boys are better than girls. Obviously, in sports, they're just better.
Just genetically.
They're genetically better.
Yeah.
They got the, yeah.
We're at Chipotle, and if you wanted an extra side of avocado, we had to pull it out of our own pocket because the school didn't have enough money. While the boys on the basketball team were riding roller coasters with the school's money. The boys were doing whatever they wanted, and we were over there having to pay for avocados.
Womp womp.
Well, I have
I'm just kidding.
that was the question. I don't care.
I have
I
something
really
to say.
No, I understand.
No, I
was
have
very-
an input too. You're not.
Go ahead. Go.
So, I think these boys might get a little upset,
I
but
won't get upset.
one thing that I will say,
Maybe.
and I'm nothing so supportive, I think our town is so supportive, but
Oh god.
our football team
Oh my
is
God.
probably worth like everything they have, probably worth $1 billion. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because I think they do work their butts off, but some of those years that they got all that money, they didn't deserve it.
I
agree.
I have a perfect rebuttal.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring light to the situation. I get we have more money than most programs, other programs,
Definitely.
but how many more? Okay, with cross
Don't say
country,
state, I'm not talking.
state
No,
wins.
I'm not
I'm
talking
just
about
being
cross
in
country.
general.
I'm
Football
not,
has
no,
30
I'm not
something.
talking about
Exactly.
Basketball has.
I would go to the topic of is the American dream dead? And Nathan, he is one of the conservatives. He brings up the immigrants are on the border for a reason. It's because they're trying to get to the American dream. So obviously it's still alive. Maybe it's not as like ripe as it used to be, but it's still alive. And I want to know if y'all agree that it's still here.
Let's go down the line again. Grant, start us off.
Come back to me.
Okay, Aiden, start us off.
I believe the American dream is not dead. I believe it is still well alive. I believe that our country is about to hit a golden age. You know, with the recent election, Donald Trump was like officially confirmed and like went into was signed into office. Was it 2-3 days ago?
I think so. 3 days ago.
Already over 200 executive orders signed. I believe that
500 illegal immigrants are out of the country.
500 illegal immigrants are out of the country. I believe that our country is I'm very optimistic for our country. I believe there's a lot of success and a lot of economic success in our future.
Good hope.
And us five,
Gotta count.
we're at the right age, like the perfect age for what's coming too, because we're about to go off and live the rest of our lives. You know, like this was the tutorial, and now that we're about to go, have to actually pay for ourselves. You know, it's gonna be a lot cheaper. It's gonna be more affordable. It's gonna be safer. I believe our country is gonna be.
Okay, anyways, next person. So, my opinion is that the American dream 100% is still alive. I mean, like, Trump just got elected, and there was a bunch of libs that switched. They switched on and boom. Yeah, there's a lot of hope here. Definitely still
I
alive.
say there's definitely hope.
And one thing I will say is that Cindy made a really stupid, idiotic comment. She said she's excited for it to die. So you know what? Cindy, that dumb lib, if you're watching.
Get out of the country, Cindy, if you're watching. Please leave. We don't want you.
Be gone.
I'm sure your husband doesn't want you either.
Oh my God.
Or your
I don't
children.
think she has a husband.
Shawty too big.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
marry her.
I think she said she had a
She's probably divorced though.
So
They do have a
lastly,
50%
we're gonna
divorce
do
rate.
our overall thoughts. We're gonna start with Grant, go down the line, and then we will be done with the beach pod.
Okay.
The beach cat.
Overall
The
thoughts.
Beach House podcast.
Overall
I
thoughts on
think-
the podcast.
My overall thoughts on the podcast was that, I mean, it was interesting to watch, but when the liberals started talking, I really, like, it was hard. It was a hard watch. I really had to force myself to watch it. Because I just disagree with most of the things that they say. I will say that, I think it was Dawn, the liberal. She was definitely, I liked her because she was definitely the most respectful, liberal out of everyone. She was willing to listen to people's thoughts, and she wasn't gonna get aggressive and judge like Cindy and the other guy. And so I thought it was interesting. It was very interesting. I mean, they didn't ever come to like a real conclusion of it, but I mean, it was overall an interesting video. Yeah.
Would you recommend
I mean, no, I wouldn't.
it? Okay, next
Sis,
person.
what did you
So
think?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
Thank you.
I think, I don't want to repeat what Grant said, but I'm kind of gonna repeat it. It's hard to watch people when they're not educated. When you know deep down that's not the truth, and then you see the liberals just like acting like they really know everything, and they know absolutely nothing. So
People need Sean Waller as their history teacher.
True.
they do. So I would recommend it if you are
As Coach Waller, you Grant.
if you're kind of on the line. If you don't know what side that you want to choose to be on, I think you should watch it, and then I think you'll know exactly what side you'll be on afterwards.
Facts.
Would you recommend it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, we have one no, one yes, we'll see what we get at the end. So the podcast, or not podcast, the video was, I think it should be recommended because it just shows how much our younger generation is being more educated than the people that are already like been in politics and everything. Like the new generation that's upcoming, kind of like Waller's been saying, like it's a strong generation that is, yeah. So.
McKaylee? So,
Kelly, what was your opinion?
yep, I think it was absolutely hilarious because the conservatives absolutely put the smackdown on the libs. And they were adults, grown adults, and they don't even know facts. But I would recommend it because it's pretty funny, but it kind of sucked.
Amen.
Go.
And
So you would recommend it?
Yeah.
It's 3 to. Honestly, it's whatever. Like, I mean, it was kind of entertaining. It was, if you're into that, you know, if you're into politics, if you enjoy watching a good little debate and listening to somewhat intelligent people talk. I'm not talking about the parents. I will say Dawn, she was emotionally intelligent. Like she knew how to talk to children. Like I could tell she was a mom and like she was comfortable with kids. Cause, anyways,
It was comforting.
I recommend it. It wasn't a bad watch. I thought it was fine.
4 to 1.
Cuatro para uno.
Indeed. So yeah, that was the podcast, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope we covered everything, and yeah, welcome.
And before
Not welcome.
if
Sorry.
you stay till the end, make sure you